Thanks for joining us here on KVUE News at 10. I'm Jenny Lee.
And I'm Jake Garcia. Breaking news tonight. Just when we thought things were getting better, the power is out for thousands of people in the city of Georgetown.
A Georgetown City Council member posted a video on Facebook just a few hours ago saying that ERCOT opened a transmission switch which caused the power to go out. Right now, more than 12,000 customers are without power. That includes the Williamson County Jail. Sheriff Mike Gleason says the jail is operating on several backup generators. He adds a heater, however, is not tied to those generators, and blankets have been provided to everyone in the jail.
It's been a week filled with power problems, and customers are justifiably upset.
Had just made a post bragging about how great it was to have power, and we just got off I'm in Georgetown, we just got off the boil water notice. And I said, isn't this awesome? Told my husband I'm gonna go take a shower, thus the wet hair, and was in there, got out, and boom, completely black.
Oh no. The city of Georgetown says the LCRA has identified damaged equipment at a substation. They are working on repairs and they expect the power to be back on about 11:30 tonight.
So even as the snow is melting, Texas is still in crisis. Austin and many of our surrounding cities are under boil water notices for another night. That's because of the power problems we saw in our state this week. That means some school districts are staying closed for another couple of days, and local authorities are working on getting clean water to people who don't even have running water to boil.
So for people who haven't had water running in days, sites like this are infuriating. All day, many of you have called us here at KVUE or posted on social media saying car washes are jam-packed while others in Austin can't even get water to come out of their faucets.
KVUE's Mike Marute joins us live now from East Austin. And Mike, Travis County Judge Andy Brown is putting a stop to this.
That's right, Jake. Judge Brown actually issued this order to extend, to go until February 25th, but he issued it so recently that KVUE's photojournalist Jackson Grimm, the guy right behind this camera, is the one who told the owner of this car wash that they had to close down, even though they were getting ready to close anyway. Now let's get into what that order actually talks about. Judge Brown is asking everyone in the county to conserve water as much as possible. Austin Mayor Steve Adler called it outrageous for anyone to be washing a car right now and says you can call 311 to report somebody washing a car. We talked to one person who has been without water, and to say she's upset would be an understatement.
I was trying to hunt down water today, hunting down water to see people lined up to wash their cars. Like, how insulting and infuriating is that?
Now, of course, this is all happening because we had power problems at Austin's water treatment facilities this week, which caused officials to issue a boil water advisory. We've also seen a ton of broken water pipes because of the winter storms, and all of this is causing lower water pressure. We need to get the water pressure back up to end those boil water notices that are in place. And so just so we're clear, don't use water outside of your home. That means don't use it for irrigation, don't wash your car, don't be filling up pools or ponds unless they have some sort of aquatic life in them, because there are people here in Austin who haven't showered in their own home in a week, and they would really love to do so. Jenny, Jake, back to you.
Thanks so much, Mike. Yeah, definitely important to conserve water, and hopefully you can find a shower soon. Well, it's the question so many of us have been asking. Where is that water? And right now, we don't know exactly when the next water distribution event will be in Austin. We're getting new figures on how much water the city has received and how much officials have handed out so far. The city says they've gotten over 17,000 cases of water so far, and they've given out a little more than 8,000 cases to critical facilities like hospitals. The city also announced that a little more than 2,800 cases of water were given to a vulnerable population, people like seniors and those with special needs. Today, there were some distribution events around town, and when bottled water ran out at one of them, volunteers showed up with more water that people could take home in jugs.
Just make sure you take care of the people that are around you. Take care of your Texans. That's what makes this state so beautiful, is that as long as you're taking care of the people around you, they're going to take care of you right back. And that's what it means to be a Texan, quite frankly.
This group picked up water at Fourth Tap Brewery and then took that water to the people in need in South Austin.
More help from the federal government is on the way. President Joe Biden issued a major disaster declaration for 77 counties here in Texas. That includes Travis, Williamson, and Hayes counties, plus some of our surrounding counties. Now that will help local governments, nonprofits, and individuals get funding for recovery efforts.
State emergency management leaders say we're getting more resources as well. The state has ordered nearly 10 million bottles of water from federal partners and about 250,000 meals that are ready to eat. More than 300 warming centers are still open across the state.
Those will stay open until people can safely get back in their home. And now that power is on, electricity should be returning. If there's still no running water in their home, we're going to continue to provide them a safe place to stay with access to safe water.
State officials also said today that with things thawing out, road conditions are rapidly improving. Only a little more than 1,000 road sections across the state are still affected by the storm.
Thousands of households got some much needed food and water from the Central Texas Food Bank today during a drive-up event at Del Valley High School. Now that's the second largest mass distribution in the food bank's history. Danny Speedwalk shows us how volunteers stepped up as demand continues to skyrocket.
In this bumper-to-bumper traffic at Del Valley High School, everybody had a story to tell.
We were without power, water, gas, heat, ability to cook, ability to stay warm.
Cassandra Vieta waited 3.5 hours for a disaster relief box after her neighborhood stores in southeast Travis County ran low on the essentials.
There are a lot of people that still need food.
Volunteers worked furiously.
Okay, gotcha.
Thank you.
Packing trunks and speeding along traffic as quickly as possible.
We actually even saw some people walk here that have probably walked miles to get here.
In all, the Central Texas Food Bank served more than 2,200 households, totaling about 7,000 people in 4 food lines.
This is, a disaster on top of a disaster.
CEO Derek Chubb says the food bank is already seeing record demand because of the pandemic.
And now we have this, week-long freeze with power outages and water shortages, and people are in pretty dire straits now.
That's especially true near Del Valley High, described by Southeast Austin City Council Representative Vanessa Fuentes as an area with food deserts.
We don't have grocery stores in many of our neighborhoods. So in these times of great need, the best thing that we can do is to ensure that once we get out of it, that we change the systems, that we make sure that we focus on the infrastructure.
In the short term, there is an immediate need for items like milk and produce.
With everything going on, everything was bought out.
After an agonizing wait, Cassandra Vieta did eventually reach the front of the line.
I was like, yay, I see the light at the end of the tunnel.
But she knows the days and weeks ahead won't be easy.
We all have lives, we all have things we have to prepare for. And this just stopped everything.
Danny Spiewak, KVUE News.
The power is back on for 99% of Austin Energy customers. At the peak of the crisis, more than 200,000 Austin Energy customers were without power. That number is under 800 customers tonight.
And to make that happen, crews have had to work long hours through the night for the past week. This video comes from some neighbors in Hutto who've been without power for 5 days. Encore is the power provider there, and they say in some cases they're still working to find out what equipment is damaged so they can fix it. And so many of you are wondering what can be done to make sure a crisis like this never happens again.
In Fayette County, leaders told KVUE's Mike Marute they're helping who they can and already planning on making changes.
We feel like we're at the ski resort in Colorado.
The snow is pretty much gone, but Fayette County leaders stepped up to help people without power and water after this past week's extreme winter weather.
One of our commissioners loaded up an entire truck full of bottled drinking water and took it out to share, and that's the nature of emergency response. We can't all have everything all the time.
In the rural Texas county, the nature of emergency response will change because of the storms that blanketed the rolling hills.
You just don't think you're going to need in Texas a snow change, because even when we have a snow, it doesn't stick to the ground, and doesn't, not for an extended period of time, but it's been white here for a week.
Along with improving vehicles, the county will talk to its own people to figure out solutions.
We're going to need have what's called a hot wash after this and get all the people that are stakeholders in this battling this emergency together and say, hey, what went really well? What went really badly? How do we fix it in the future?
Craig Moreau, who runs the county's emergency management, says that meeting will happen sometime in the coming days and weeks and come up with a formal report in about a month or so. Until then, he's already working to make changes.
We're going to need to have what's called a hot wash after this and get all the people that are stakeholders in this battling this emergency together and say, hey, what went really well? What went really badly? How do we fix it in the future?
In Fayette County, I'm Mike Marute.
And Craig Moreau says he's also applying for grants to invest in a trailer with solar panels so people who lose power in a crisis can still charge their devices to contact loved ones and to get help they need.
Austin Energy says even though you might have heard about other electricity customers in Texas seeing huge bills because of the winter weather, you won't see that here. Austin Energy's base rates are fixed and any changes have to be authorized by the city council, and Austin Energy says that's not going to happen. So if you use more electricity than usual, your bill might be higher, but that rate Austin Energy charges will not be changing.
I hope that is true. Now, Hunter Williams joins us now. Another piece of good news. Tonight's the first night we don't have freezing temperatures.
We are expecting that this morning was the last hard freeze for, it looks like, at least the next 7 days. Excellent news for us in Central Texas. And although we have a couple of cold fronts that we're tracking, for the most part, I think the next week is going to be a great opportunity for us to continue to thaw out across Central Texas. So this evening, instead of 20s and 30s, we have 40s and 50s. It's 50 in Austin right now. Georgetown at 49. The coldest spots in the Hill Country down to the mid 40s. But even there across the Hill Country, we're only expecting upper 30s. So lows tonight across the board, well above freezing. A welcome change down to 44 for tomorrow morning in Austin. Although we're not talking freezing temperatures, I do think we'll have some fog tomorrow morning. Low clouds building back in as well as some patchy fog or mist. That could be reducing visibility early in the day on Sunday, so a heads up for that. By Sunday evening, though, a cold front moving through. Here's a look at that system now, but this is not a cold front where we need to worry about another significant Arctic blast. It's not going to be like what we've had recently. So a 10% stray shower chance in the morning, a 20% isolated shower chance during the evening southeast of Austin for Sunday night as that front moves through, but then 62 Monday, Tuesday 69, Jake and Jenny by Wednesday we're in the 70s. So as I mentioned, a couple of little chilly mornings, but overall our forecast trending much warmer.
You are bringing people the news they want to hear tonight, Hunter.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much.
All right, what lawmakers are doing about energy prices in the aftermath of the winter storms.
Plus, a look at all the hard work medics did during this unprecedented week.
Welcome back, everybody. We have a quick correction to make. Earlier in the show, we told you about the power outages going on in Georgetown. Now, in his Facebook Live, the city council member talked about ERCOT working on the issue, but he let us know it's actually Encore. So right now, more than 11,000 electricity customers in Georgetown are without power tonight, and Encore crews are expected to fix that issue by 11:30 tonight. We will keep you updated on any more developments, so stay with here on KVUE and on KVUE.com. Well, Governor Greg Abbott says he plans on helping customers in Texas who are seeing their electric bills go up dramatically. Today, he had an emergency meeting with Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, State House Speaker Dade Phelan, and other members of the legislature. Democrats and Republicans were part of this meeting, and they talked about finding ways for the state to reduce the burden of electricity bills.
Austin-Travis County EMS worked nonstop to save lives during the winter storm. Just look at some of these numbers. From Sunday through Friday, rescue crews responded to more than 6,000 calls. More than 500 of those calls were from people who had fallen. More than 100 were crashes with injuries, and there were close to 90 calls for carbon monoxide poisoning. Meteorologist Hunter Williams joins us now. Hunter, we're past the really cold weather. You are tracking a few cold fronts, though, over these next few days.
We do have a few cold fronts, but the good news is the coldest of the weather by far, that's behind us. These cold fronts are not going to be not even remotely close to the level of cold that we've had here over the past several days. So some chilly mornings, but overall, I think we have a good opportunity to keep thawing out here over the next 7 days or so. Tonight, for now, it's a clear sky. Here's a live look up at Williamson County from our Round Rock camera at the Kalahari Resorts and Convention Center. However, late tonight, I think we'll see some low clouds build back in. We could also have some patchy fog, maybe even some areas of mist tomorrow morning. Our highs today, though, made it into the low 60s. They actually overachieved. 61 for Camp Mabry, 63 at the airport. We were thinking, as we're still kind of in the process of melting some of that snow, that we may stay in the 50s, but hey, we will take the low 60s for sure. Tonight, building clouds, some patchy fog and mist may develop late, but nowhere close to freezing. 44 for the morning low tomorrow morning in Austin. Even the coldest spots in the hill country will be above freezing. So I think our last widespread hard freeze was this morning. We're trending warmer for the next couple of days. Here's a look at our numbers now. 44 for Mason, 41 for Llano, Austin 50, Bastrop 50, 49 in LaGrange. And as far as the statewide perspective, there's still nothing going on. However, as we talked about at the beginning, there's a couple of fronts heading our way. Neither are looking either overly strong, but here's that first front that will move through by tomorrow evening. That will give us an isolated shower chance southeast of Austin during the evening hours, but still I think most are going to be dry. Here's our model. Tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., we're looking at a cloudy sky. Some fog is possible, as well as some patchy mist. Temperatures widespread in the 40s, no freezing temperatures. The afternoon will clear to a mostly to partly sunny sky, and the afternoon, it actually looks really nice. 68 for the afternoon high in Austin, but by the late day, here's that front nosing through. Now for the I-35 corridor, points west into the hill country, we're not expecting rain. However, over maybe Caldwell County, Bastrop County, Lee, Fayette counties, we could see a band of light to moderate showers develop by about 9, 10 o'clock, but that quickly pushes down to the south, and that's basically it for the rain chance. Now, there is colder weather behind this cold front. It's just not the same level of Arctic cold that we've been tracking, so it's not a huge concern for us. Maybe a light freeze across the hill country. Mason 29 Monday morning. Austin, though, we're looking at several degrees above freezing, so we are not expecting widespread freezing temps for the next 7 days. In the afternoon on Monday, this is going to be one of our coolest. That's going to be in the upper 50s to low 60s, back on the warming trend starting Tuesday. So Tuesday, 69 the high. Wednesday, 74, a little bit cooler by the end of the week, though, as we track our second front. So here's a look at that one. Wednesday, 3 o'clock, fronts moving through. We do not have a rain chance Wednesday. Looks like that's going to be down to our south. By Thursday, though, we'll introduce about a 20 to 30% isolated shower chance, and we'll keep small rain chances into Friday and Saturday as well, but it's not looking like widespread rain. So here's our 7-day forecast. Thankfully, so much warmer than what we had last week. 68 for the high on Sunday. Weak front moves through. That temporarily will stop our warming, so we're at 62 for Monday, but then back up around 70 for Tuesday. Wednesday, well into the 70s. Then we're back down to the 50s Thursday and Friday. But Jake and Jenny, even to end the week when we cool down. Those mornings, they're around 40, so those are going to be above freezing. So we're so happy to say that the coldest of the weather is finally behind us.
So happy.
70-degree weather is going to feel scorching hot, and I honestly can't wait for it.
I'm with you.
All right. Thank you so much, Hunter. Well, so many Texans have stepped up to help each other during this very tough week.
Coming up next in sports, what one UT athlete is doing to take care of people in her community.
Better sleep means a better you. With Mattress Firm's Rest Assured promise, you can try America's best mattress brands and save.
While the community still fights for power, water, and other basic needs, I'm hoping the next few minutes can give you a sense of normalcy. Let's talk sports, let's show highlights and hear from coaches, and let your mind escape, even if it's just for a moment. Let's start with baseball. Opening day for the Longhorns on the road at Globe Life Field. Mississippi State up 2-0 in the top of the fourth when Luke Hancock hits one deep, and it's gone. Mississippi State now up 3-0. Jumping to the bottom of the fifth, Longhorns down 5-0. Ivan Melendez to left field, and that ball is out of here. Texas finally on the board with a solo home run. Still in the fifth, bases loaded for the Longhorns. It's looking promising, but Landon Sims gets the strikeout and ends the inning. Bottom of the ninth, Mississippi State leads 8-1 now. Texas with a runner on first. Melendez hits a double down the line to left field, brings home Douglas Hodo. Melendez now contributing to both runs by Texas. The Longhorns would score one more run in this game, falling to Mississippi State 8-3. Turning to basketball, Texas hosting WVU today. Courtney Ramey playing a huge role for the Longhorns, putting up 2 right there. Jace Febres adding 3. Andrew Jones with the steal pass to Coleman, who throws it to Ramey, and that's another 3. Texas seemed unstoppable and at one point had a 19-point lead. But in the second half, Ramey and Jones got into an altercation that changed the mood for the Longhorns. West Virginia took advantage, battled back, and got the win because of it. Final score 84-82.
When you got 2 competitive people, you call each other out, and it just escalated. We put it in the past, but West Virginia did a good job of just hitting shots in the second half. We turned the ball over more in the second half, and they had more momentum in the second half than we did. But over the little thing between me and Andrew, it's in the past. We talked about it. We're going to continue to talk about it.
They have to be able to interact with each other and communicate with each other. And sometimes it's got to be a call out. Sometimes it's got to be, something that's not the easiest to hear. And then they've got to be able to kind of dialogue back and forth. And normally they're really, really good about that. There's a respect level there between them. But I thought today, again, for whatever reason, that wasn't the case. And it absolutely did affect us.
Turning to women's basketball, the Longhorns host Kansas State on Sunday. And like all of us, they faced hardship during this winter storm. Charlie Collier, who has been a leader on this team, on and off the court, teamed up with Rapolo's Pizzeria and paid for 50 personal pizzas for members of the community that needed food.
It's really unprecedented for an athlete, a student athlete, to do something like that. First of all, it's a lot of kids don't even think that way. 2, obviously, there's an expense involved, and just really. Again, so proud of her, want to commend her. And again, what a great thing for her to do.
Collier and the Longhorns tip off at 2 o'clock at the Frank Irwin Center.
Student leaders so impressed with all the people stepping up to help their neighbors during this time.
Charlie Collier's been getting it done on the basketball court all season long, and honestly, it's not surprising at all to see her do something like that.
Right, so impressed. All right, thanks. Well, as we get through this energy and water crisis, Austin's mayor says he thinks some things need to change so this doesn't happen again.
Plus, a congresswoman from a different state is raising millions to help Texans in need.